So you're on now.
Oh my god, this is so scary, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so zodiac signs. People think not to believe in them, but that is totally a lie. You look into your zodiac sign and you find out so much about you. Well, like, what's your zodiac sign?
I think it's Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah.
So are you very analytical and like very like you need facts? Like your life is so your worldview is based on facts.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah, I'm a Libra, so I'm very like indecisive and very like back and forth.
Okay, here's my problem with this.
So for example, like I'm a people pleaser is like part of my aspects. The fact that I didn't tell you that this window was open when you're driving was because I didn't want to like point out like something that you would have done like I guess wrong.
Right. Okay. But here's my question for you: is like, do you believe that like 11 out of 12 people like statistically don't care about facts, or like how does that work? Like I feel like if you said I feel like you care about facts, I would say yes. But out of the people in the back or whoever would also say yes. Like at least
I guess you could say it like that, but like you have to think about more of like your own experiences. Like, have you ever been like determined by emotion? Or would you say the majority of your experiences have been based off of like factual evidence that you had? Because like I could sit here and I could say like half of like I know when something is wrong to do, but like I base half of it on emotions and half of it on feelings.
Okay.
And that like it says a lot in my like just on my sun. Like you have to think about you have a full chart based on your birthday.
But you're thinking about just you yourself, right? The only way what you're saying is not complete bullshit.
Yes,
sorry to put it that way. Is that like
if you think about it, philosophical, I can only base everything on my own experiences.
Yeah.
Did you have you ever heard of this theory? It's like the apple theory. I'm not too sure exactly, but basically it like you have to look into it. I'm very sorry. I can't exactly pinpoint what it means, but the apple theory basically says that like you could only experience what you have been and who you are or something like that. So it's something along the lines that like you are me and I am you.
Okay, but you can't analyze the world like that. I don't think you can do that.
Anyways, I was just saying a cool like theory that I know. But you can only analyze the world
experiences
about what you know.
But like that's like if I say, oh, I think everybody's a man. And then you're like, well, no. But I'm like, well, I've only been a man, so I can only imagine.
Do you only visually experience people being men? No.
Okay.
You visually experience. Visual experiences could be all 5 senses.
Sure. But again, going back to my original question is like, do you think that like, if Virgos are like, you know, the only people who these qualities apply to, then the other 11 signs or whatever should have no, you know, leaning towards facts.
No, not necessarily, because as I said, like you have your full chart. So based on the exact time that you're born, your chart is determined. So every planet means something different.
Right.
And like kind of determines something different. So your sun is how you see things and like how your aspect of life is. Your moon will be your feelings, your emotions. Okay. So based on when you're born is like what like planet, like what zodiac sign the planet was in, and that will determine the rest. So like I could sit here and I could be a Libra, but I could have the rest of my planet showing like Sagittarius, and like you would not notice like the aspects of my Libra because the rest would overrule.
Okay.
So it's much more complex than being like, oh, I'm a Virgo, I only believe in facts. It's like much more complex than that.
So but what controls any of this though?
Based on the time you were born.
But why? Why does that have any determination?
Because everyone has a unique time that they're born and a unique like date that they're born.
We're talking about zodiac signs.
Yeah.
What's his?
He said he's a Virgo.
Yeah. But I'm asking you what controls this stuff. Like I understand that you could be born at a different time and have different attributes. I'm saying what actually determines you would have set attributes based on the time you were born? What connects
like,
these two things together?
I said like what? Okay, so when you were born, obviously you're born on a specific time, specific date, like specific second, whatever. And based on like where the planets are in like the zodiac or like horoscope, like
right
placements in the universe, is based on like whatever the planets are in.
Yeah.
Determines your chart.
Okay, I get that. But I'm just saying what controls your personality based on where the planets are. Like
it's based on like what the zodiacs would like their main like attributes would be. So Virgo is very factual, like
you're giving me the attributes that would be associated with the person. I'm asking, what is it that makes these people have these attributes based on when they were born? What actually causes this?
What do you like? I get what you're saying, but I also I'm just saying that's how it is.
Okay, I don't know how to phrase this question better, but like, if I were to say like, people who are born in August are left-handed, right?
Yes.
And then the follow-up question is, what makes people born in August left-handed? What makes this happen? What causes this phenomenon?
Nothing. Like, it just happens.
But nothing. Things just don't happen, though. Like, why would things just?
Why would things just happen? What makes things happen in the first place? If things don't happen, there has to be something to make things not happen, anyways. So something has to happen.
Okay, but you're making things happen in a very specific way. They're not just random.
It's just how it adds together.
Specific things happen.
Yeah, it's just like how like patterns. Like obviously, if a pattern happens, you're gonna start picking up traits that you find that are repetitive. So I guess over time, these things are repetitive based on like what these or like zodiac signs represent.
Okay, but patterns usually have a cause, right?
Okay.
Like the patterns you see in the sky, you can reason out why the patterns you see in the sky are there, because they shift over time or whatever, and at a certain time they'll be in a certain orientation based on the gravitational pull or whatever. Like,
then you could say that gravitational pull is what makes.
But why would gravitational pull determine somebody's personality?
Why does gravitational pull happen in the first place?
It's like physics.
Okay, then you could say it's physics then.
But why would physics determine your personality?
What if physics not?
Why would it though? Like,
why wouldn't it? You could say like both sides of the question.
I don't think you could do that.
Why?
What do you mean? It's like saying like, I don't. You can't. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped here, to be honest. It's hard.
I totally get what you're saying, but like also like you're thinking of as like, oh, like why, like the reasoning, but like what if there's no reason? Like what if about the opposite side of what you're asking?
Okay, remember how you were telling me earlier that I like facts and things that are attached to facts?
Do you think that we prove
So
that
I can't
now?
just be like, oh yeah, well, like, no, we can't. We can just have things happen for no reason because shit happens.
So do you see
like it actually doesn't
so
work
wasn't
like
that like our whole thing that you believe in facts and that's how we got into the Virgo?
Like you have like green eyes, right?
No, I actually don't.
Or blue eyes or something close to that, right?
Blue, yes.
Okay, do you think that you have blue eyes just because?
But
like, could I also have blue eyes just because?
Let's refer this back to what you're saying. Weren't you just saying that like you are very factual and that like kind of proves the whole point of how we got into this discussion anyways? So would you say that you kind of proved the point?
Of Virgos liking facts?
Sure.
I would think that I would hope that the majority of the population would look for reason behind why somebody's eyes are blue or green or whatever, instead of maybe it just happens.
But have I showed wondering a reason?
What
about my perspective of these things? What about my act and all this? So this whole time you've been wanting a reason and I've been like rejecting that reason from you, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Wouldn't I be the opposite of what you're proving?
I don't know if it does.
I don't know. Something to think
When
about.
did you get into this, like, zodiac signs and whatnot?
Zodiac signs?
Yeah.
Probably, like, I'm like 20, so maybe like 5 years ago.
So you've been studying this stuff or looking into it?
No, like, I'm actually not as advanced as, like, a lot of other people are. I, like, just think it's really interesting, and when I have time, I'll look into things about it, but I'm not, like, consistent, like, updating myself on everything.
There's updates?
Like there's not updates, but like there's a study of it. So like based on like degrees in the like where your zodiac falls and where your planets like fall based on your birthday. Like there's degrees of where the sign is. It's very intricate and very like.
Yeah, I know. I actually looked very deep into this because I did a video about zodiac signs a few months back with somebody else. Yeah. And
were they really into it?
I guess, I don't know. She was also telling me like I'm not too like familiar or whatever, even though I've been looking into it for like 2 years. I'm like, maybe you should know some basic things. I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know how much you like center your worldview on these signs or whatever, but I feel like they like. A lot of people who actually like care about these, it affects them like greatly. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't know because, as I said, like I can only base off like what I know in my own experience.
Like, how often do you ask people their signs?
Oh, like I think it could be conversational starter because even if people hate it and don't believe in it,
right,
they feed off of it. I am like, no matter what, like people like, even if they're like, oh, like I don't believe in zodiac signs, somehow like that like anger of like not believing in zodiac signs and being mad that someone else does, like it starts this whole conversation. So zodiac signs is actually like a perfect conversation starter, but I just think it's cool. Like I'm not like, oh my god, solely believing in everything based off zodiac signs.
Do you believe in like Christianity? Are you like a
fun
Christian
fact,
or not?
my last name is like fully Christian. Like I literally like whatever. But I'm like back and forth.
Sorry, you're back
I'm
and
like
forth?
back and forth.
Okay, but like the reason I ask is it's like you asked about why you could make physics like question it in either direction, right? And then if I bring it back to like, oh yeah, well Jesus died and then he came back to life 3 days later, and it's because of physics. Because why couldn't physics do that?
And
do you see how that's like not a valid question? Like
yeah, but like my thing would be like back like the opposite of that. I'd be like, why can physics do that? If you say why can't, you know, like it's always the opposite. You always have to think, but even if whatever question you're asking, you also have to think the opposite of that.
Okay, but if we were gonna do that, then science would actually never go forward. Because then anything you determine as like some sort of scientific knowledge is now you just flip it around and you're like, well, what if this isn't true?
Should science go forward though? Is the real
question. Should it not? Do we prefer not having science? Like
you never know. Have you ever wondered?
You know, you'd be walking home tonight if science didn't exist, right? We wouldn't have a car. We wouldn't be driving. There'd be no roads.
But should I also ask, who made us come onto this planet and say like, do this? Like who said like make cars and like
why does somebody have to
jobs?
say? Well, why did somebody have to say these things?
But how did we get here then?
They kind of happened over a very, very long period of time. It's not like we had cars 200 years ago, right? So we didn't spawn with the idea of we should have cars. These things developed like
what
over.
What even made us come to like the whole thing that we should have cars? What like why do you work? Like have you ever thought about that? Like you work to get things, but like what are really things?
What are like, things?
Yeah, like.
Have you ever heard of postmodernism?
I think I have, but can you refresh my memory? Sorry.
I think I'm not the right guy to tell you this because I don't know enough shit. But like, I feel like that's what you sound like something out of like postmodernist theory or like what is things.
No, I'm thinking like, you know, like, yeah, like what, like.
Take care.
She's leaving.
Bye.
Bye, we love you. Bye, thank you.
Have a good night.
Do you happen to always pick like the opposite side of what people are saying?
No, like just like I have to try to see the opposite side sometimes, but like with like supernatural stuff, like I'm just like really against that type of stuff altogether, like religion and like zodiac. I'm like yeah. So I don't know any of these things. Just like they I feel like they're very, very dangerous territory for like.
Yeah, keep going.
Your turn
stop
right.
sign. Your turn right. Stop sign.
Yeah, like no, I totally respect that though, because like I do get both ways, and that's why like I think like everything is cool. I don't necessarily believe in anything, but I don't necessarily not believe in anything, you know?
Right.
It's like kind of like a very open door that it's like maybe one day I'll pick one specific thing I'm gonna believe in.
But I feel like if you're picking stuff to believe in, there should be like solid reasons behind believing them.
Yeah,
right?
but if you
and
think
if you're
about
just like I don't know why things happen, I just believe in this, like I don't know if that's sound.
No, and I do get that because I think like a lot of like religion and like a lot of the even zodiac signs, it gives so people are afraid of not having a purpose, not afraid of like something to believe in. So I feel like these things give people hope and like something to believe in.
Right, but can't you find a better purpose than zodiac signs?
You probably could. Like I'm just saying, like I think it's really cool.
Right.
I'm not like, oh my god, like I'm a diehard fan, like blah blah blah.
But don't you think it's just like a sense of belonging type of thing? Like
yeah, no, straight.
I see McDonald's now. Okay.
No, like, and yes, it is a sense of belonging. That's the whole point of like beliefs.
And cults, right?
You could think it's a cult, but almost any club would be considered a cult.
Yes and no. I feel like groups that believe in supernatural things that control the world are slightly more cultish than like a chess club, no? Like
yes, that could be the case, yes.
Right? If I believe that there's things in this this looks closed.
No.
I'm lucky.
That's so upsetting.
It's
No, but oh, you can't go this way. You can only go. You have to go all the way back.
Oh, rip. So
No, that is
here.
totally true though. Like.
Right? It's not just any club. Like, you could join, like, a book club. You don't have to
However,
believe that there's, you know, stars that control personalities.
This is really embarrassing, but I used to be a girl guide. Oh my god.
A what?
A girl guide. It's like this whole, like, little, like, girls club in, like, Canada. And, like, it's, like, basically you go and, like, I don't even know what it necessarily would support. But a lot of it had to do with, like, camping. And one of the things we would do was, like, sing around a campfire. Like, it's kind of culty as fuck.
Okay.
Like,
but that's still not as culty, right? Am I, like, you see that, right? Or no? Like, just singing around a campfire?
Come on.
Like, clearly believing that there's things in the sky that control people's personality
It's like
at birth
planets, though.
has to be worse.
It's planets, more astronomy. Like,
It's not astronomy. That has nothing to do with astronomy. Like,
What
it
is
sounds
it?
like it does. But that's just because
has
it's
to do with, like, the
using
stars and,
astronomy.
like, the planets. And
Okay,
stuff.
but just because you have knowledge of astronomy being used in your study or whatever doesn't make it astronomy. Does that make sense?
No, but I'm saying, like, you could consider it astronomy rather than, like...
You could,
like,
but that's like if I'm using
by
my height and
chance.
weight to determine, like, you know, what my profession is going to be in 40 years, and then saying, well, this is physics because height and weight are physical quantities.
It's
Like, it's
more
not, right?
biology.
Or biology, or whichever,
But
but
you
it's
say,
not, right? Like,
you could say, like, biology, like, I guess, like, made you into, like, the person you are, which determines, like...
what if I was determining what musical instrument I would like to play based on my weight?
You never know. Have you ever done a study about it?
No, but I'm fairly certain that that study wouldn't, like, return
never
a
know.
correlation.
You never know.
Okay, sure, but...
Until you say, like, until you find, like, a study that says, like, elsewise, and you can't, like, know for certain.
Okay, so if they brought you a study that says that zodiac signs don't actually match these things that they claim they do, then you would discount them, or
More
like
than one study. It has to be
if there was more than one study.
If there's more than one study and it was, like, scientifically proven, yeah, like, why not?
Okay, I'm 100% certain that these studies exist. 100%. I'm not even doubting it. So if you
opposite?
I haven't looked because I already know that
And,
it's
like,
like
everything
not.
back to their whole point. Aren't you arguing, like, to have facts? You're saying, like, oh, you're 100% certain that, like, these articles exist to prove the facts that you want to give. So, like, wouldn't you also be, like, kind of proving the whole, like, first situation of Virgos believing facts?
Okay, but like.
I think it's bedtime. Like, this is too much.
Yeah, I think you're like.
No, she's like into
Me?
this. No, she knows. Like, she knows.
Bro, he
this
keeps
shit.
on asking me questions, so obviously I'm gonna
No,
answer.
like, she's,
I'm
like,
glad
into
that you're
this shit.
answering
Like,
these,
don't
but-
worry, she knows this shit. Like, but like, I'm just too tired for that.
Okay, no worries. Perhaps we should pick this up another time.
We'll see.
We'll see.